No story about osteopathic medicine can begin without talking about this man, Andrew Taylor Still. Still was born August 6, 1828, in Virginia as the son of a Methodist minister and physician, Abram Still. Abram Still traveled the country as an itinerant preacher and physician. As a young man, A.T. Still apprenticed under his father and became a physician and surgeon himself. In 1851, Abram Still was called by the church to settle at the Shawnee Methodist Mission in eastern Kansas, and A.T. Still and his young family joined his parents on a homestead, where they farmed and provided medical and ministerial care to the Shawnee. After enduring the Civil War in the early 1860s, A.T. Still suffered a long series of tragedies, losing 5 children to illnesses like meningitis and pneumonia, and his first wife to childbirth. Having suffered such loss despite being a physician, A.T. Still began to doubt the practice of traditional medicine and the use of drugs. His faith shaken, A.T. Still spent the next decade studying various alternative forms of medicine, including magnetic healing, mesmerism, and phrenology. He explored the nature-centric philosophies of American spiritualism in the Shawnee. Still also became a student of different systems of manual medicine, including lightning bone setting and Native American bodywork. Eventually, in 1874, Still coined himself a new kind of physician, an osteopath. Still's treatment philosophy was focused on promoting wellness rather than treating illness. Still described the importance of taking care of a patient's body, mind, and spirit. He proposed that in the body, structure and function were interrelated at all levels, and therefore, through a deep understanding of anatomy and skill in manual medicine, function could be improved through hands-on treatment. Still also believed that the body was capable of self-healing and self-regulation, meaning that treatment should be minimalist in nature, focused only on clearing potential barriers to health for the patient. His family relocated to Kirksville, Missouri in 1875, and his ability to treat patients without the use of drugs drew much interest. Patients traveled to Kirksville from far and wide to be treated by Dr. Still. He was also met with skepticism by the local medical community, but his results were undeniable. In 1892, A.T. Still opened the American School of Osteopathy in Kirksville. Contrary to traditional medical schools at the time, his classes were open to all, including women and African Americans. Although A.T. Still was an MD and therefore could have granted his graduates an MD degree, he opted instead to grant a new DO degree, or Doctor of Osteopathy. The school quickly grew, and his first students began opening additional schools across the country and overseas. What is now the American Osteopathic Association was founded in 1897. At its inception, A.T. Still rejected the practice of surgery or prescribing medications, given his negative experiences with his family. However, the faculty of the osteopathic schools were often practicing physicians, and the early profession struggled with whether to stay true to Still's vision and perform only manual medicine, or to embrace the entirety of medical care. By the time of A.T. Still's death in 1917, the battle had been won, and osteopathic schools had incorporated medicine and surgery into their curriculum. The next several decades were spent fighting for the right to practice medicine as unrestricted physicians. The profession continued to grow, new schools opened, and for a long time osteopathic physicians practiced in isolation from their allopathic physician counterparts. Osteopathic physicians had their own schools and their own hospitals, separate licensing boards, and accredited their own residencies in various specialties and subspecialties. As general medical science and practice continued to improve and become more evidence-based, the gaps between osteopathic and allopathic practice also became smaller and smaller. Then, in 1962, the state of California passed a series of resolutions effectively merging the California Medical Association and California Osteopathic Association. The state agreed to stop issuing DO degrees, and all practicing DOs could attend a short seminar, pay $65, and be given an MD degree. Ultimately, this plan backfired in 2 important ways. First, the patients revolted, saying that they could no longer know which physicians were able to practice manual medicine if they all had the same degree. Second, passing the merger effectively recognized that MDs and DOs had equivalent training. The merger was reversed in 1974, and from that point on, DOs moved quickly to secure unlimited practice rights in all states as well as within the U.S. military. Today, osteopathic and allopathic medicine are closer than they have ever been. MDs and DOs continue to attend separate medical schools and take separate licensing examinations. However, upon graduation, all students apply to the same residency spots in all disciplines. They train and practice side by side throughout their careers. For all the similarities, though, key differences persist between osteopathic and allopathic physicians. The most prominent of these is specialty selection. Although any student can choose any specialty for training, most osteopathic students choose primary care fields like family medicine or pediatrics, whereas most allopathic students choose specialty care fields like surgery or psychiatry. Another difference is location. A higher percentage of osteopathic medical schools are found in rural communities than allopathic medical schools, and this translates into more DOs practicing in rural settings. Finally, there is osteopathic practice and philosophy. While only a portion of osteopathic physicians use it in their practice, all DO students are trained to perform osteopathic manipulative treatment, the hands-on approach to care espoused by A.T. Still. Osteopathic medical school curricula also tend to more heavily emphasize interpersonal communication, the importance of touch in both rapport building and diagnosis, and the 5-model approach to treatment, which we will be covering next in osteopathic philosophy.